Hi everybody, hope you're well. This is the penultimate video from the Ridgeway. The very next video you will see after this one is us saying goodbye to it. A little bit sad, a little bit happy, a little bit excited, a little bit nervous. A raft of emotions, I'll be honest with you. Very interesting. The house is an absolute tip because the caravan is empty. But although we have sorted out a lot of it into two big boxes, and I'm going to say a huge thank you to my mate Denny for supplying us the boxes. He works in the packaging industry, and he also designs a lot of cardboard. He does a lot of cardboard engineering. He managed to whip up a few boxes for us specific to our requirements and our sizes, etc. And he came out golden. So thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate that. I'll buy you dinner on Wednesday. This video, I thought it'd be quite an interesting story video actually, because I'm going to tell you all about how we managed to sell this thing so quickly, and also give you some top tips on things to do if you want to sell your caravan privately as well. There is in fact two stories here. It's a timeline video. The story I'm going to start off with over here is from the Ridgeway, and I'll discuss everything to do with the Evora because there's quite an interesting story to tell there as well. But we need to start the whole story off back at the beginning of the year when we decided that we were going to sell up. We decided quite early on that maybe this is the time to upgrade. Maybe it's time to change the model. There's nothing wrong with this caravan. It does do everything that we want it to do, but we were thinking now it's just the two of us. Maybe it's time for an upgrade. I went through our rationales with that in the last video. So when we decided earlier on in the year, we thought, well, what layout would we approve of? What would we like? And when we had Chloe, we always thought that our logical caravan would be a unicorn. I already reviewed the Evora up to this point. I did that last September, I think it was, September 2022, I made that video. And that was always going to be on my fantasy list, but we knew right there and then that we would never be able to afford an Evora. So up and down the country, all main dealerships will have a demonstrator model. They will have one of every single layout, which they will park up on their forecourts, and they allow people like you and me to go and visit them, walk around them, and see and try them out, see if they like them. And those caravans are typically known as demonstrators. They are there for the benefit of you and me, and if you put the order in for one of those caravans, it won't be that specific caravan, be a brand new one ordered from the factory for you. But at the end of every season, maybe June, July sort of time, all the main dealers then start to look to sell these demonstrators because they want to get rid of them ready for the 2024 models. Now, the thing about the demonstrators is it's a good opportunity to buy a discounted caravan. It means that it's the brand new caravan, it's never been registered, but it's cheaper. And the reason it's cheaper is because it would have had about 1,000 people walk through it. Now, the Evora that we're going for is not a new caravan, it's a demonstrator. It's had about 100,000 people walk through it. It's been at the shows. In actual fact, it's the press caravan that Bailey used to launch the model. It's the caravan, specifically the caravan that I reviewed back in September 2022. So then fast forward to when we were camping in Cheddar at the Caravan Motorhome Club Cheddar site. And we absolutely made the decision right there and then that we were going to sell the caravan. So the first thing we needed to understand is what's the value of this caravan and what is the value of the caravan that we want to purchase. And finding out the value of a caravan is quite an interesting issue, especially when you've got a caravan which is not very popular, this being a dealer special, and also having great things done to it, like the addition of the air conditioning, the Wi-Fi, the iNet, all the other topics and all the other projects that I've done on this caravan to really bring the comfort level of this caravan up. So it was quite an interesting issue for me to try and work out what this thing was worth. I did find some adverts for Bailey Phoenix 640s for sale around the country, and they on this year were valued at about 19,000, all bar £5, which I thought was okay. It was getting towards where we wanted to be in terms of what we wanted. But then, of course, selling it privately, I can also inflate the price a little bit and also add value to it because of the extras which I've added on. And the extras I added on to the Caravan were going to go with it, but also I was going to include extras as well, like an awning, corner unit. I've got a couple of TVs, so I was going to supply one of those. There was a few other bits and bobs as well, which I was going to throw in with the Caravan, all in the purpose of raising the value of the Caravan, because that's the only reason why we would ever contemplate selling it privately, because we want to get as much cash as we wanted. So I knew that this Caravan existed because I had reviewed it back in 2022. So I made a phone call to Bailey to find out what was going to happen to this specific Caravan, and they indeed said that at the end of the season, September-ish sort of time, it will be up for sale. It'll be fixed up and it'll be sold on to a dealership. And that's what happens with a lot of these demonstrators. Certainly press caravans from the main manufacturers, be it Bailey, Coachman, Eldis, Swift, Adria, whoever it is, when they've finished with their press fleet, they sell them to a dealership at a very reduced cost, and then they allow the dealer to then sell them forward for people like you and me, who can then buy it at a reduced cost. So I made the inquiry. They said yes, it would be for sale. Let's make some inquiries to see what dealer you could purchase it from. So they made the phone calls, and indeed they arranged it that I could buy it through Swindon. So fast forward to September 2023, we're on holiday at Lady Margaret's Park just outside of Chirk. Beautiful site, highly recommend it. We now know the value of this Caravan. We now know what we're adding into the Caravan. We now know what we're going to go and have a look at, but we still haven't pressed the button and done anything at this point because we don't know if the Caravan is actually up to our requirements or whether it's actually to our standards because obviously of its history. So with that being said, we still go ahead, but we do nothing publicly. I create a video showcasing this Caravan, explaining all of the extras, all the add-ons, but also being completely transparent and discussing all the things that were wrong with it. At the same time, I also created an advert on caravansforsale.co.uk. Not affiliated, not supported, not endorsed by them whatsoever. Comparing it to Caravan Finder, Auto Trader, I found it far easier to do it. So at the end of September, it's the D-Day. We are now going to go and have a look at the new Caravan. I've created the advert selling this sales video. I've created the advert in Caravans for Sale. I've got all that ready to go to push live. And I've also created the video, which you have now seen, explaining that we're selling the Caravan. The plan was, once we'd sold the Caravan, we were happy with it, we were going to then push everything live and then start the ball rolling to get this one sold. But before we went down to have a look at the new Caravan, I actually contacted all my friends, my very dear close friends that I have, and I told them that, you know what guys, we're selling the Caravan and potentially we're going to have a look at another one, and this is what's going to happen. And I sent them the video that you've now seen and I let them view it. And one of my very dear friends came back to me and they said, well, guess what? My brother might be interested in that Caravan because they are looking for a new Caravan, or have been looking for a new Caravan, and this would absolutely tick their boxes. There's a couple of things which they're unsure about. They'd like to come and have a look at it. And very quickly I ascertained, I said, well, look, I won't say it's for sale. I will say, you know, once we are happy with it and let everybody know, I won't say it's for sale. I'll say it's sold, subject to it being seen. So on the day we were going to have a look at the Evora, we obviously went through it with a snag list, and we wanted to make sure that before we said yes, we were happy with the Caravan, that actually nothing was horrendously broken, because remember, this is a used Caravan at this point and it is very much sold as seen. We did ask if we could do a couple of snagging issues, if there's anything there that we thought we could sort out, but by and large most of the issues, if there were any issues, would be picked up at PDI at the dealership. But we were allowed to go and have a look at the Caravan, we were allowed to look through it and make a snag list, and I will be absolutely honest with you, the condition of the Caravan was in very good nick. Sure, it needed a ruddy good clean, and probably will need a clean when we get it, but out of the 11 items that we snagged, They were down to silly little things like latches not latching on the cupboards. There was one issue with the rear door at the washroom, which was easily to be fixed. There was an issue with the struts on the bed. They're not holding the bed up when the mattress is lifted. Little things like that, which really, in by and large, if you consider that this particular Caravan has been at the shows, it's been used in tow car awards, it's been walked through by thousands of people and used by members of the press, you can understand that, you know, we were thinking it was going to be a bit tatty, but no, everything was in tip-top condition and we were delighted with it. In fact, I got quite overwhelmed because it realization that, you know what, this is in our grasp. This fantasy caravan of ours, this one caravan that we thought we could never, ever, ever own, now is tangibly there. Hopefully we can do this. The only thing riding on it, however, was how quickly we could sell the Ridgeway. So of course, once we've seen the new Caravan, everything was fine. I pushed that video live and I'll be honest with you, I could have sold this Caravan 11 times over just by that video alone. It was incredible. The response we had was fantastic. And it's kind of upsetting really, because I did go to an awful lot of effort to produce the adverts, the wording of it, and also the video tour of this Caravan as well. I spent a lot of time doing those two things and realistically, they were pointless. Anyway, that being said, the following Saturday, the new owner came down and they had a look through it and they fell in love with it straight away. Watching their reaction was very heartwarming because it reminded me, and it reminded Angela as well, of the time that we sat in the Luna for the very first time. We relaxed straight away into it. It was phenomenal. I remember just sat there fantasizing. The kids are running around. We're in Devon. It's a lovely weekend. We've got lashings of ginger beer. It's relaxing. Angela's reading a book and I'm doing not a lot because I'm just taking some time out from my work schedule. And we sat there and we fell in love with it. And that was exactly the same reaction I could visibly watch from the new owners. And they absolutely fell in love with it. It was everything that they needed. I showed them all the bits and bobs that work on this Caravan. I showed them everything that was, you know, right and wrong about it. I showed them the damage on the wheel, the worktop, the window, the latch. There was only 4 things really wrong with this Caravan. I showed them all of that and they were fine with it. We agreed the price and that was it. It was sold. That there and then. So that pretty much brings us up to date to now. We are at the last weekend in October. The new owners are going to pop over later today to pick this thing up. They're going to take it for a short holiday in a campsite not too far away. They're going to try everything out. They're going to put the awning up. They're going to do everything, bits and bobs, etc. I'm going to talk them through a few bits with them when they arrive. And that's it. Our new Caravan arrives hopefully in a couple of weeks. It's having its motor movers fitted and it's also having a brand new air conditioning unit put in as well. And that's the basis of things that I'm going to start comparing it to, because we're going for a bigger air conditioning unit. This one obviously is the Truma Compact. Yes, and we're going for the Truma Comfort, which is the big brother to this one. And we're also having quad movers put on as well. And it's going to be really interesting for me to share with you the differences. And so there's content there straight away that I'm going to share with you. There's also projects which I'm buying bits for right now, which I shouldn't be. But there are projects which I'm going to do in this Caravan, on the new Caravan. So I've got lots of things planned for it. But until we get the new Caravan, the content might be a bit sporadic because we are sans Caravan. So there we go. I mean, if there was any advice that I would give you to selling your Caravan so quickly, what I did was I photographed the Caravan in and out. I dressed it. I put things out so it looked as if it was lived in and loved and, you know, cared for, which obviously it is. So I put the ornaments up. I put the TV in place. I put a kettle out. You know, just dressed it really to make it look as if we were using it, and it looks beautiful when it's all lit up and what have you. I cleaned it thoroughly inside and out, and we just were really honest about everything that was brilliant in it, everything that's not brilliant in it, and things that are broken that need attention. We were just really honest because I didn't want anybody to come back and say, well, hang on a minute, you said that this wasn't working and it's not actually working, it's actually broken. you know, and I didn't want any comeback from it whatsoever. I'm happy that it's the brother of a very dear friend. I know this Caravan is going to be well loved, and I think actually that means more to me than selling it for the money. I'm happy knowing that this is going to be dearly cared for, dearly loved, because, you know, this Caravan, which we've called Rupert, by the way, Rupert has been a family friend. You know, it has been a member of the family. We've taken it everywhere that we've had good times. And, you know, I always get emotionally attached to inanimate objects. I do it with my cars, I do it with this thing, with the Caravans. And, you know, it's been faultless. Sure, we've had a couple of things go wrong with it. You get a couple of things go wrong with everything. But do you know what? Genuinely, the things that have gone wrong with it have been so inconsequential that they were very easily fixed and remedied. You know, from the squeaky floor at the back to the front cover, the front panel starting to come away. Simple things that could very easily be rectified. And this Caravan has been faultless. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Please do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon. If you can do all of that, then the next video you'll see is this thing going, and then hopefully us in our new Evora. So look, thanks very much, everybody. Take care. We'll see you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.